Hey Syntheads, today we're going to be talking about the Prophet X from DSI. Hi, I am Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers, I review them, I demo them, and I make electronica music. So if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell, and let's get on with the video. Hey everybody, it is Pure Ambient Drone. I am back again with another review of a synthesizer. This time it is going to be the DSI Prophet X. Now I did a video on this before when I did not actually own the synthesizer, and I gave my first thoughts. Today I'm going to share with you my complete opinion on the Prophet X. I'm going to tell you how I implement it into my studio, and I'm going to tell you what I think of it. So let's go. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you probably know something about the Prophet X. You've probably been watching a bunch of other videos by 8Dio and DSI demonstrating this new synthesizer of theirs. Now, this is a review based on my opinion and my experience hands-on here in my studio of the Prophet X. So DSI teamed up with 8Dio and they put together the Prophet X. A lot of people are wondering, what kind of synthesizer is this? Is it a hybrid? Is it a sample-based synthesizer? Is it a VA? I have a suspicion that there is something going on under the hood of the Prophet X that makes it more than just a sampling machine. I've heard samplers, I've heard romplers. This thing sounds as if it's got all of that going for it, but something extra. Because when you play around with the synth sounds, it's just amazing what you can get out of this box. This, in my opinion, is one of the best sounding synthesizers I have ever got to lay my hands on and record with. When I record with this synthesizer, I immediately notice a warmth and a fitting in the mix that I have not experienced with very many other synthesizers ever. Okay? I can't overstress this enough. YouTube videos and the like don't do this thing justice. Prophet X is first and foremost a sample-based synthesizer. It takes samples, it mangles them, twists them, changes them, and plays them. And I have got to tell you, I have not yet sampled any of my own sounds, but the presets that I have found inside the box, every one of them sounds pristine. But this isn't a preset box, and I think that's where people get really confused or misled. A lot of people think that the synthesizer is as good as its presets. Really, a synthesizer in general is as good as you program it to be. And this Prophet X really is programmable. It has a lot of hands-on parameters that you can twist and turn and tweak right from the face of the unit. Very easy navigation. The ARP function sounds wonderful. But who is this for? Is it for the electronica dance musician? Is it for the film and TV composer? Is it for the guy that likes conventional music? So it appears that DSI is trying to reach a broad marketplace with this synthesizer. It can do a lot. There are some weaknesses, but there are far more strengths. Now, the biggest complaint that I get from people is the price tag. Let's face it, it's almost $4,000 once you pay your taxes and shipping on it. Some places are free shipping and some places are tax-free. But that still doesn't help much. You're right there at $4K. Is it worth $4K? Well, listen. Here's how I can answer this question. And I'm trying to answer this being subjective as possible. If this is what you need, then the price is right. I like to tell people your gear is worth as much as it takes for you to get your project done and to make a profit back on it. Pardon the pun on the word profit. With that being said, is it really worth $4K? I have purchased a synthesizer in the past that felt very plastic-like, thin plastic, cheaply made, not worth the $3K plus I paid for it. I was very dissatisfied with the sound quality. To me, the Prophet X is a solid tank of a machine. It is built like a brick. It's heavy, it's sturdy, it's got good feeling knobs. The only thing that I have experienced so far, and I think it might have just been an anomaly, was I was turning one of the parameters and the encoder was jumping past some of the digits. When I changed the preset and went back to the same preset, to the same parameter I was trying to change, everything was working fine. Could have just been a random glitch. I'll be keeping my eye on that because for 4K, I want to make sure everything is pristine. That's an expensive machine to have a problem out of the box with. Again, it only happened one time. It's probably just a glitch. The other thing I want to mention is when I was playing the guitar sounds that came with the unit, the presets, the lower octave towards the bottom wasn't convincing to me enough to warrant wanting to use it in a track for myself. Okay, some of the guitar strings. Now let's get to the strings such as the cellos and other strings. The Prophet X excels at string samples. I cannot even begin to tell you how pristine and clear the stringed cellos and violins and other orchestral strings sound. They just totally blow me away. I have never experienced a synthesizer with such convincing orchestral strings such as the Prophet X. What they like to do in a lot of the presets, though, is add a lot of ad-libbing to their samples, so they're not just coming out static. And I think that's a nice touch. It would have been nice if they could have added a complete orchestra into the Prophet X for the price that we're talking about. It would have been great if we would have had a complete orchestra bank. I would have liked that. Because that's some of the music that I've been touching base with lately, is orchestral-based music. There isn't a whole lot here for the EDM guy. I would not call this an EDM machine. Could it be used in an EDM production? Sure. But would I buy this if I was into EDM? Actually, I would go with an Access Virus for that over the Prophet X. That brings me to another point. The Prophet X and my Virus C from Access are a wonderful marriage. I cannot believe how well they sound together in a mix. If you haven't seen my review on the Access Virus C, check that out on my channel. At the time that I did that review, I was wondering whether or not I was going to actually keep the Virus C. I ended up keeping it. I still have it to this date. Love it. It's a permanent resident here in my studio now. The Prophet X marries up to it perfectly in the mix. Just love the way the two gel together in a mix. The pianos in the Prophet X are so convincing, are so elegant, are so beautiful that I would not choose another box over the Prophet X for piano sounds. Now, there are great machines out there, such as the Yamaha Montage that I also own. Has a lot of pianos. But there's something about the Prophet X that just blows it out of the water for pianos. I also own the Roland Integra 7 that has thousands of sounds in the box. Lots of pianos, too many to even mention. But the Prophet X, the few pianos that it has in comparison to these last two synths that I mentioned, the sound quality blows them out of the water. It was scary buying a $4,000 synthesizer, okay? But I got to thinking, this is what I want to do in life. I decided that with the Prophet X, I was going to get what I wanted and I was going to get what I needed. And I had done enough research to find that it met both of those criteria. I have no buyer's regret whatsoever on the Prophet X. Furthermore, it is the most exciting keyboard that I have in my arsenal to date. Literally, when I come into the studio, it's the first synthesizer that I find myself reaching for. It has so many possibilities in the sound palette. Now, if you're thinking about getting the Prophet X, you're probably wondering, which of my synthesizers is it going to replace? And you're probably looking around in your room deciding what you have to let go of on eBay or Reverb.com in order to finance the Prophet X. And that's a hard question to ask if that's what you're planning on doing. Personally, I have said this before, I don't think a musician should sell gear to buy gear. So if this is a software-driven machine, it certainly does have some nice hardware that is passing itself through in order to get that grit. There's something about the Prophet X that just sounds so gritty and dirty and analog and warm and crunchy and soft at the same time, that when the sounds come out of this, it really, really sounds great. Now, if you're wanting a mix that has a sound to it that's just, in my opinion, unbeatable out of the box, the Prophet X is the best bet for your money. Again, it is 4K. So if you're a little guy and you're not making any kind of money with your music productions whatsoever, this would be a poor investment for you until you can start building up some kind of cash flow in order to pay for this, unless you have a job where you can just pull out 4K and buy a Prophet X. So let's get to what I like the most about the Prophet X, and let's get what I don't like about the Prophet X. How about we start with what I don't like about the Prophet X first. It takes a while to boot up. It's a slow booter. I'm not saying that it takes hours or minutes, but for me, watching a little progress bar shoot up the screen, it's a little slow. It's expensive. Again, $4,000. I don't like that price, but I liked it enough to shell it out. This doesn't mean I liked it. What I love about the Prophet X, again, the sound. To me, for this type of synthesizer, the sound is immaculate. It sounds great in a mix. It sounds great by itself. The presets, you can work with them, you can change them, you can manipulate them, you can make up your own. The sound, to me, it's one of my best sounding synthesizers I have in here. I think one of what it reminds me of with the pads and some of the synth sounds, it reminds me of the Roland JD800. To me, the Roland JD800 has this dirty, gritty sound to it. And the Prophet X comes across very close to that texture that's coming out through the speakers like the JD800 does. I love that sound of that synthesizer. To me, it's fantastic. I like having all the parameters that are contained on the front of the synthesizer. I love being able to go up and tweak certain aspects of the sound without having to menu dive. I love the modulation wheel and then the sliders. They have not one but two sliders. The Prophet X went to work in my studio from the moment it came out of the box. I started it up and I heard a few of the presets and I immediately started putting it in a track. So that's my initial review on the Prophet X. I might have more for you later down the road, but I haven't had it more than a week yet. With that being said, leave a comment below and tell me what you think about the Prophet X and what your experience, if any, is with it. And as always, let's be respectful to one another. We're all fellow synth heads here, having fun, first and foremost. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell. It encourages me to do more of these videos. Until next time, cheers.